Hello, and welcome to E2E's Business Unusual, a video content series for and by the SME business community. Our focus is on helping entrepreneurs navigate this very difficult time since COVID-19. Today, we're joined by John McGlynn, founder of Scottish Captial. John, welcome, and thank you for being part of this.
A great idea.
Thank you. And just to get the ball rolling, could you just give us a brief about John, your career and business interests?
Yeah, I suppose technically I'm probably the person who's had the longest spell of unemployment in UK history, having left university at 21 years old, starting up a company which has technically never been work because it's so enjoyable. And many of the people watching this, that will resonate with them, that when your passion is business, it's not work. It's a lifestyle and it's an environment that we are so fortunate to be able to do. But yeah, Business Unusual, it's a very good title because that sums up very neatly where we are right now.
Yes. And just relating to that, how have you and your employees kind of fared since the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, I don't want to be flippant here, but we've been very, very fortunate because I was around and I've got the scars from the 2008 crisis. That was just a financial crisis, which was, in hindsight, this one's much worse. But we learned a lot of lessons in 2008. You've got to be nimble on your feet. You've got to be able to cut back on overheads. You've got to be adaptive. So the transition for us from pre-COVID to COVID wasn't that bad because we were already operating as close to a virtual operation as you can. So we decided to close our head office in Glasgow a week before the government officially closed. And it was literally a case of people lift their laptops and press one divert button on the phone system because we'd already been not planning for this event, but we've been planning for disruption based on 2008. So luckily for us, it wasn't a huge transition to the COVID scenario that we're in now.
Interesting. And of other entrepreneurs I've been talking to, particularly ones who were around and operating in during the financial crisis, very interested in just kind of those lessons learned as well.
Yeah.
So interesting how you've been able to apply those. And if we go all the way back to the beginning of the year, before all of us knew about the coronavirus, I'd never heard of them before, frankly, and COVID-19 in particular. What was it you were looking forward to achieving for your business in this year before disruption?
Well, Scottish Captial is quite a wide-ranging investment entity now. I mean, I've been doing this for 25, 26 years. And we've always had a theme for annuity revenue, high barrier to entry businesses. Those are just the ones we like, mainly property-based. So, we were planning and expanding all of our current divisions, which is Storage Vault, Self-Storage, Cobalt Business Centre. With some other Scottish entrepreneurs, we're starting a new bank because we felt that the SME banking sector wasn't being well served. So we're launching a new bank. We've got some investments in mining in the US, lithium mining. We've got some healthcare. We've got some cannabis investment products in America. But fundamentally, we're mainly a property business. And for us, it was really just keep doing what we're doing and look out for some really good investments and keep growing the core business.
Interesting. Okay. And you were saying at the beginning that really you'd planned for some disruption, but moving to remote wasn't overly challenging. You were able to do it ahead of time. But just in terms of any impact over the last 6 to 8 weeks?
I think the impact has really been more on, again, I hate to sound flippant, but it's been mild disruption. It's been a change in the mindset as how we do things because when we saw the financial crisis, we were in the car parking business. And I actually worked out, if one person doesn't turn up for work, we have a problem here. When we designed all of our current businesses, like Storage Vault as an example, we basically said, and I sat down with the most amazing management team and said, we need to design this business that if Jimmy doesn't turn up for work in the morning, our customers can get in and out, this business can still function. So we couldn't see the pandemic, but we could see problems and disruption, whether that might be, staffing issues or transport issues or whatever those big things that can affect your business. So we've been very lucky. We've been well ahead of the curve in terms of business disruption. This is just the most extreme version that anyone could imagine. We can book customers in online. You could go onto Storage Vault's website today and make a reservation for a storage unit, do everything you have to do and turn up within the quarantine restricted rules, and you can carry out business. And there's lots of businesses can't do that. But I would encourage people who haven't been so fortunate to think about these things. Use your downtime wisely and think about how you really learn the lessons of COVID, the post-COVID period.
And with regard to a lot of in the press, a lot of announcements regarding government aid. Have you been taking advantage of those various measures, or it sounds like business is going okay, but again, have any of those measures been useful to you and your companies?
Not for us personally, because Scottish Captial is Isle of Man based, so we don't qualify for the government measures, but I would pay absolute tribute to the Chancellor of the Exchequer. I think what he has done for the business community is outstanding. Now, lots of people, I hear people sniping and complaining, saying, we haven't done this, we haven't done that. Let's just take a step back. The Chancellor has agreed to underwrite effectively 80% of the entire UK's payroll if required. This has never been done in the history of governments in hundreds and hundreds of years. And yes, there'll be some people who are not going to be, as comfortable as they would like to be right now, but let's not make the perfect the enemy of the good. What they have done is absolutely outstanding, and I do hope that they continue to have mechanisms to help people who are maybe not covered. But my understanding is it's something like 90% of British companies now are now covered in some way, shape or form. And the business community response, I think, has been generally outstanding.
And and it's an interesting point as well when you say it hasn't been done for hundreds of years or even ever. So that's a big change in terms of how society or government works with the business community. Do you think there'll be any changes? That on the other side, the flip side, that society, taxpayers will expect and have a different view of businesses and business owners.
Yeah, I think people will remember businesses who've treated them well, and I think people will remember businesses who've treated them badly. Let me give you a little anecdote. I have lots and lots of flights booked all the time, and I appreciate airlines are busy, but it really, really annoys me when airlines force you to go through a call centre procedure, which they know is going to take you 2, 3, 4 hours. Yep. And the way they treat those customers, there are 2 airlines I will not fly with again because of this, the way they've treated us in the crisis. And it's not about the money. It's just about, the way they treat customers. It's just shocking. Think of your customers, every single business. What can you do to go the extra mile to help people? And it'll pay big dividends. This is the best PR opportunity of a lifetime. Treat your customers well and you will be remembered for it.
As you're talking about, customers will remember kind of the companies that have treated them well and this flex. And it's easy to think, well, there's businesses and they're entities, but you're a human and companies run by human beings. So just moving a little bit onto that piece, the exchange, the change that we're experiencing has been compared to the 5 stages of grief, and just wondering kind of where you are in that process.
I did go through the initial stage of denial and disbelief, but again, in the self-storage industry, it's a global industry. And believe it or not, we actually do have a global self-storage WhatsApp group where I've got some really amazing friends who are based in Hong Kong, Singapore, mainland China, California, the US, South America, and we share information about lots of topics about the markets and everything globally. So we did get a bit of advance warning from our friends over in China and Hong Kong as to what was going on. So my period of denial and disbelief really only lasted a few days. We could see what was coming. We've all seen the movie Contagion. We've seen Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, so we know how this plays out. You know, the minute the virus goes airborne, you know you've got a big, big problem. So I kind of leapfrogged all the middle bits and went straight to acceptance after a few days and said, you know what, this is the new reality. What do we do? How do we deal with it? And the most important thing is people's health and safety. I mean, 100 years ago, people were asked to go and fight in the trenches. We're being asked to stay at home. So I think we've really got to have a bit of a reality check for those who are whinging about this. We're all concerned about our businesses, but fundamentally, health comes first. Once you get over that issue, then absolutely focus on your business and what can you do. But I think you've got to try and be optimistic, as difficult as that will be for many people. You know, sit with a blank sheet of paper and put the good things and the bad things and try and flip as many small things onto positives. If there are things that are out with your control, like the here and now, you know, if you physically can't open the shop door today, focus on all the things that you can do when the shop door can be opened. How are you going to be more efficient? How are you going to be more customer friendly? How are you going to adapt to the post-COVID crisis? And how are you going to be better prepared for the next event, whether it's a financial event or a health event? Because one thing we can be certain of, there will be another event, hopefully not on this scale or magnitude. So I think focusing on the positives is a really good thing to do.
It sounds like 2008 financial crisis was the kind of learning experience for you in terms of a business person and coping with crisis, in terms of managing kind of that mental health piece, which can be difficult for anyone, but particularly founders and entrepreneurs right there. They've got the leadership piece and they're really putting themselves out there. Are there things that you're doing to kind of help, or that you did in 2008 that you just want other entrepreneurs know that were helpful to you getting through this exceptionally stressful period?
Yeah, I mean, 2008 was really just financial. You could still go to Starbucks and get a coffee. You could still go out for dinner. So life went on. You just had less in the bank than you had before it. And some people didn't make it through the bank process. This is just unprecedented. This is, you know, we're locked at home. We can go out for an hour a day. It's just a completely different vibe. So when you're in a confined space, and if you're in a small property, then it's obviously going to feel worse. The one thing to do is stay off booze. It's so easy. I mean, I've decided that I'm going to use this period and have a real health kick. So I'm absolutely, the easiest thing to do is, you know, you open a bottle of wine, you have a glass, then the bottle's done, and you maybe think, well, I'll do another one, and every day can become a Friday or a Saturday. So I think having that personal discipline of exercise, healthy eating, you know, I'm down nearly 10 kilograms in this crisis period just because I've been so disciplined about it. And I think that's a good thing to do if you can or if you want to. Might be you've got a hobby to focus on, or read books, or, you know, whatever your thing is, you should really focus on that and become obsessive about it so that you don't start being a couch potato and come out of this physically unfit. Because if you're physically unfit, when this thing's over, you're going to be mentally unfit. Because I do think the two are quite closely linked. And you've got to come out of this thing fighting fit. You've got to be organised. You've got to have thought through your playbook. What are the options for your business? Now, some of them might be really unpalatable. And right now, you might think, in theory, we could do that, but we never could. 2008, we took 42% out of our overhead structure. Now, a lot of those things, I'm looking at that going, we can't possibly do that. Can't possibly do that either. We did all of it. My rationale was, if these financial gurus are correct, if we do nothing, we won't be here. And if we cut too deeply, we'll cause mild damage to the business, but we're still going to be here and we can rebuild. And I really think we've got to get into that crisis management mindset, which is not easy. And some people adapt to it better than others. But, we've got the most amazing technology. We're on the Google version of it. I mean, for the first time in my life, I've taken a Zoom subscription. Tomorrow, the entire management team, we have a full board day. We're trying to do business as usual. We don't need to sit in the same room to have board meetings. We've got all of our advisors dialing in. Business will change. There's no doubt about it. People are going to be using technology more. And you've got to ask yourself, I mean, we could have done this meeting in the good days, face-to-face in London. What would that have achieved that this hasn't achieved other than a lot more time and expense for both of us? So, I do think this will be an event that changes how business operates fundamentally. I think our storage business will take a hit initially, but I think it will do well because more people will want to outsource goods into storage. Our workspace business, small, ultra flexible workspaces and offices, and I think that sector is going to go through a boom phase as well. Not every sector is going to work, but have a real think about how you can adapt to the new norm.
Again, right at the beginning, you were saying you moved to remote working very, very early, and your board and directors, it sounds like, able to, or hopefully tomorrow, able to kind of function very well. Just in terms of, and again, it's just that adapting thing. And an easy thing in the olden days was to get a team drinks or a team offsite together, or an in-person team meetings. How are you and your management team keeping employees engaged when they're remote and maybe even on site, they're reduced staffing levels?
Life hasn't changed. They still do it. So I think it's a Friday afternoon at 4:00. They have a virtual go to the pub via Zoom. So, you've got to adapt. I mean, I think it was Charles Darwin who apparently said, survival of the fittest. Well, we all know that's not true. Survival of those most able to adapt. I've never thought of a phrase that's more appropriate in this current crisis. It was really appropriate in 2008, and it's really appropriate today. People have to wake up that where we are could be more like the future than the past. Social distancing could be around for a long time. I don't want to be a doom and gloom merchant, but to date, the world has never found a vaccine for a coronavirus. Influenza, the common flu, is not a coronavirus. The common cold is a coronavirus. SARS and MERS are coronaviruses. So people shouldn't be thinking, lockdown will get lifted in 4 weeks. We're going to have a vaccine June, July, August, and everything goes back to normal by September. I would be encouraging people to say, what if this does go on for 6, 12, 18 months? Now, yes, the lockdown won't continue, but social distancing will be there. People are going to use video conferencing rather than travelling to meetings face-to-face. People will do less international travel. If any of those things impacting your business, you got to almost do a best case and a worst case scenario. But you talked about the team as well, and one of the things that we did was we set up a charitable appeal. So I looked at the problem, like any new business going. There are patients getting whipped into hospital, and they haven't got essential or comfort items by the very nature of the corona crisis. The NHS staff, as we know, are way too busy to nip down to a little shop and buy people toiletries and them off the cost. If you're whipped into hospital, you don't have money. So we set up an appeal that we didn't think would go anywhere. 8,500 members supporting my local hometown hospital, over 1,000 Amazon parcels a day, and the volume of goods that have been gifted by people is approaching £200,000. Now, wow. The storage vault team are very active involved in that, and everybody volunteered to be involved. And I think if you can, those kind of community projects are really good things to do. They're good morale boosters for the team. It distracts people from the COVID crisis for a few hours when they're doing something good. And it's just good to see that, if you can do something to help others, then go do it.
No, that sounds incredible. And just for anyone who's watching this this recording, is there, if they wanted to donate to this initiative you've set up, is there a name, a way they can do it?
Yeah, if you go to Facebook and type in RAH, Royal Alexandra Hospital COVID patient appeal, that should take you to the page. Okay. But the response has been overwhelming. In fact, we're actually going to have to roll it out to other local hospitals because people's generosity has been so good.
That's exceptional, and I hope we bring a few more donations here, and maybe if not to Royal Alexandra Hospital, to others that you end up working with. And
if anybody wants to steal the idea, I would be absolutely delighted. What you do is you set up a Facebook group, you set up an Amazon wish list, link the two together, publicize it, and the messages I've had from people saying, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something." So you're keeping not only the patients up, but all those who want to do something, but maybe can't work out entrepreneurially how to go and do it. So if anybody wants to nick the idea, please do. I'd be over the moon.
Great. Okay. No, that's fabulous, and yeah, really hope people steal the idea as well as contribute.
Absolutely.
And then just as we close out, kind of here, and you've said kind of the lockdown will end, life will get different, there will or stay different. There will be social distancing. But what are you, when we get out of, I'd say, the lockdown period and we really start to see what new normal is, what are you most looking forward to achieving for your company and maybe even yourself? It sounds like you've been on a health kick. Are you going to kind of go and have steak, chips, and a huge bottle of wine? I don't know, but anyway, what does that look like?
To be honest, what I'm trying to focus on is that we're in a period of temporary suspension of reality. That's the way I look at this COVID crisis. It's almost like, the middle of March, we pressed the pause button on life. And what everyone looks forward to is when we can lift our finger from the pause button and things go back to normal. That could be months or it could be years. So I think from a personal perspective, I just look back to the virus not being there that causes people some real serious health issues. When I can physically go back to a bar or a restaurant, that'd be nice, but that's not the principal focus right now. I think we've got to focus on people's health, and then we've got to focus on people's wealth. How do we make sure that business can get back to normal quickly to get people having jobs? I think government and every local authority in the land has to take a long, hard look at itself and say, what 5 things can we do to remove barriers or obstacles to the business community? What can we do to help small business restart and regrow? So I plan to be raising a lot of these issues with a lot of the governments nationally and locally, because that's going to be paramount to their success. And I don't mean to sound critical, but there are many people in government and many people in devolved governments and local authorities, they just have no business experience. Zero. So it's not like they're deliberately doing the wrong thing. They just don't know what the right thing is. So I think the business leaders across the country, locally and nationally, have got to speak up. And John Caldwell has been very vocal on this, and he is a phenomenal example of what I mean by this. He's doing it on a national scale. Those who can should. But even on a local scale, some of the smaller business owners who will be listening to this podcast, make a list of the 5 things that would really impact in a positive way in your business. It might be parking restrictions in your hometown. It might be the cost of parking charges. It could be any number of things. Get that information into your local and national political leaders, because if they don't know, they can't act. And it's really important that we get the business political divide built to its highest ever standard. We've got to be doing this together. After that, I have a nice bottle of Bordeaux.
I think it sounds well deserved after all of that.
Yeah, it's tough times, but go back to basics on this, right? We're being asked to stay at home. Difficult as that may sound, we're not in the trenches with bullets being fired at us. After the health period, we're going to go into the wealth period. No one knows what that's going to look like. But the harder we all work together and pull on the same rope, the better it's going to be for everyone. And that's what we've got to achieve from this.
John, I just want to say thank you very, very much for giving your time today. And I really appreciate it on behalf of everyone at E2E. And thank you. And also, again, I hope that we provide some donations as well to the charity, or provide ideas for people to help their local communities as well. So thank you.